Hello everyone, welcome back, welcome again to this update of the project taking Toolbox for Creativity to Kickstarter. Alright, so things seem to be moving a little bit slower now and kind of, there's a lot of work. Unfortunately, it's not the kind of work that you have inputs, action and outputs. It's this kind of work that you need to keep doing. It takes a long time and you will only see the outputs at the end of the campaign or when you go, when you launch a campaign. And what I'm really talking about is getting to know your audience, getting to really understand the people you want to, support your project, your Kickstarter campaign. So as I mentioned in the previous updates, the people that I'm focusing on are people who deliver training or workshops, and they can do this as freelancers, or they perhaps own their own small to medium-sized company, or they can be doing this, if they are working in corporations, but their job or a large portion of their job is actually to deliver training, and they will use Toolbox for Creativity in order to improve the quality of their trainings and workshops. And how does this work? So I have explained this in the past, but let's do it again just to make sure that we understand what Toolbox for Creativity is. Toolbox for Creativity is a learning solution and is made of three primary parts, and these parts are the physical elements. So this is actually a prototyping kit, and you will see how this works in a minute, or while I'll talk, I'll show a little bit of the prototyping kit. And you also have the digital elements. The digital elements are PDFs, but also majority of the explanation of how Toolbox for Creativity works, and even the framework, is done through YouTube style videos. And this is primarily the bulk of what I refer to as the digital part. And then we have the framework. The framework is a framework for implementation and evaluation of Toolbox for Creativity. So the framework is also explained through YouTube videos and perhaps the PDF. So then we take all of this and we apply it to two scenarios. One scenario is in which you yourself have a training, a training program with all your learning outcomes, and what is it that you want to teach, but it's not really engaging. So in this case, you can merge that with Toolbox for Creativity, and then the training will be more engaging, and therefore people will learn more, and they will also have this passion to go back into what they learned and keep putting it in practice. So all of this generates a sort of domino effect that makes the training more efficient. Therefore, if you are pitching your training as an investment to an organization, this is a key feature of the training. It makes return on investment. This is the thing that a lot of people talk about. Sometimes, most of the times, it's difficult to prove, how training actually improves the quality of the learning of people in organizations. Believe it or not, it's hard. Or how training makes the corporation more successful. It's not always so easy to prove. The theory is there, there's plenty of it, but it's sometimes hard to articulate. So one, I suppose, little fact that you could memorize, and although I hate memorization, but that you can get familiar with, is that through the use of games and some other tools and technologies, but let's focus on games, which is the area that I specialize on, and I don't call my product a game, I call it a learning solution. So through the use of these games and learning solutions, the training that you deliver will be more engaging, people will absorb the knowledge better, and there will be much transfer. Transfer is what they take from the classroom, from the training, from the workshop. They will be able to apply it to their job. And there's a second kind of transfer, which is once they use it for one area of one, say for example, domain of their work, they will be able to apply it even further. So as I said, it's a domino effect in a really positive way. And that is what Toolbox for Creativity is. That's the benefits that it achieves. And these are the people that I told you I'm targeting, and I'm doing the research in order to understand them better. So I have been doing this for a while, and as I said, it's kind of a long, repetitive work. Not necessarily repetitive, but it's long, and we don't really see the outcome until we see the outcome, which is when the campaign goes live, and let's see how many people start to back up the campaign, and then we can go further to then produce and deliver the Toolbox for Creativity, the elements of Toolbox for Creativity. So again, this part is long, it takes time, and if you are running a Kickstarter campaign, you will also have to spend a lot of time at the beginning understanding your audience, trying to figure out who they are, what they do, what they like, and then take your products and present it to these people. So just to ensure that the people out there who are already interested in the products or the product that you are going to pitch to them can get access to this product, to this information. You can get access to them very quickly. So there is a kind of really quick connection, because trying to convert people who are not really interested, or perhaps they believe that they are not interested in your product, try to convince them that your product is going to change the way they work and the way they do whatever, then it is it will take a long time. I'm not saying that you can't do it, you can't do it, but it takes a long time, and the campaigns, Kickstarter campaigns, are usually, fast and furious. So once you decide to go for it, of course, you have something like 6 to 8 months of preparation, but once you go live, you only have 3 or 4 weeks max. And again, if you are trying to change people into not trusting your product, to trusting your products, that's perhaps not the best way to do it. Not the best way to do it while running a Kickstarter campaign. So that's what I have been doing. That's what you will have to do. And my advice is, remember, it takes time and it takes work to prepare all the ground to, this moment of launch. So what else have I been doing? Yes, I actually attended the Game-Based Learning Virtual Conference, and it was really interesting. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because through this conference, through attending it, I collected names of people who were presenting, and it was really interesting. And I put it together with another task that I have been doing, which is reaching out individually to all the people in my social media network. And I suggest you do this. And it's not just taking a, say, for example, canned message, a pre-created message, and sending it to everyone, just changing the name from hello John to hello Piotr. It will not work. You have to practically send individual messages to address people, to tell them what you're doing, to ask for their support. Their support can come in many ways. They can just simply, reshare your updates, your tweets, your posts. They might be interested in the product. They, may ask you more questions. They may ask to be involved. So again, this will only come if you go and connect with all of them individually. And I have been doing this, and again, it takes a bit of time. I kind of went through all of my Facebook contacts, and now I'm doing the same with LinkedIn. And by doing that, I discovered something interesting that, perhaps I hoped, but I didn't know, which is that there are a lot of people out there working in the area of games and improving learning and development and improving training and development. And these people are responding quite positively to the idea of Toolbox for Creativity, and they are either asking me for more information, giving me their email address so they can be included in the newsletter, or they share information about, this company may interest you, or this page might be of use to you. So I'm only getting this because I'm reaching out to them. So I recommend you also do this. And I mentioned the Game-Based Learning Virtual Conference because I collected some people who were talking, and I'm also reaching out to them, and it's amazing, the feedback that I get from people in this from this conference. So next year it will happen again, so I absolutely recommend that you pay attention to this conference. I'm not sure if next year is going to be online or it will be, face to face. Let's see how things evolve. And I mentioned the newsletter. That is something else that I started doing. So I sent the first edition of the newsletter, and in this newsletter, what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep the audience engaged. So I am not really sharing anything about Toolbox for Creativity at the moment. I am just sharing information that I believe can somehow help the people in my audience. So again, remember, my audience is people delivering trainings, people working in order to, that's their actual daytime job, to deliver trainings and workshops. They can do this as part of a corporation, their job, or a large part of their job is to deliver training and workshops, or they can actually work for themselves or for a small to medium-sized company, and they deliver training to other organizations. And what I'm doing with the newsletter is I created 6 areas of, I believe, interests to these people, and these 6 areas are contained within the research that gave birth to Toolbox for Creativity. It is also included in the framework of Toolbox for Creativity, and I am sharing information that I believe is useful to people to the audience of people receiving the updates of Toolbox for Creativity. And by doing so, I'm keeping them engaged. I'm hoping that they share the newsletter. I'm hoping as well that other people will then click on the sort of follow me button, and they sign for receiving updates about Toolbox for Creativity. So again, this is work that takes time. It is a bit slow at the beginning, but it needs to be done, because just simply collecting emails and letting them sit there for 2-3 months until the time you go live, perhaps will work, perhaps will not. So I'm using this opportunity to keep the interest going. So these are the things that I have been doing. Something else that I'm doing, and this is work that started even before the preparation for the campaign, is I have a playlist in YouTube where I review books that can help us improve the quality of the games that we create, games for training and development, games for education. I have reviewed so far 3-4 books, I believe, and the next one is coming soon. And what I'm doing is I will take as well the information that I have presented in those videos, merge that with the original source, which is the notes that I have from each book that I read, and I will create PDFs, which I will turn into a little handout that can be given to people who decide to back up the campaign. And why am I doing this? Because I was checking other campaigns of products similar to Toolbox for Creativity. Well, similar in the sense that they were perhaps prototyping kits or kits that allowed to create better games, but they didn't focus on the education part. Nonetheless, I was reviewing them, and I noticed that one sort of basic pledge is usually a PDF, So, and a PDF can help us do many things. In the case of creating, say, for example, board games, it gives us, tips and some, I suppose, like small formulas that allows us to create and test our games. And I thought, okay, that's actually good, but what can I give to people that is not contained in Toolbox for Creativity? What sort of PDF can I create? And as you know, well, perhaps you do, I hope you do, I am quite good at writing and producing material, academic material. I have been published as well in the academic world regarding diversity and inclusion in games and education. So I decided to, as I said, take these videos in which I review books that can help us make better games, watch the videos, go back to my notes, the original notes from the book, and create a PDF that will be a really basic pledge that people, can simply decide to back up in case they don't want to back up the whole product, I suppose. There are different levels and people can select different things. Obviously, I do hope that they decide to get the full package, Toolbox for Creativity, the kit, plus other things. But if you go for that, of course, you will also have access to the PDFs. So these are the things that I have been doing. Again, don't listen to what I'm doing as a roadmap of what you should be doing, but this is something that perhaps can help you when you are running your Kickstarter campaign. Listen to, for example, my mistakes. Listen to the people that I'm quoting, that I'm sourcing. So, for example, I told you that I was looking at all the people running Kickstarters of games and prototyping kits to create board games. So that is something that you should do as well. You should look for similar campaigns that are similar to what you hope yours will be. Learn from them and not just look at one, look at many, look for similarities, look for differences, and try to learn from them. That is what I'm doing currently. So again, I hope what I'm sharing helps you. Thank you very much for watching. If you like, what is happening here, if you have some comments, please post them at the bottom of the video or whichever social media that you come across this video, in which you come across this video. But if you like these videos, if you like the idea that I'm sharing with everyone, this product, Toolbox for Creativity, please click on subscribe, please follow the campaign. You can also contact me through social media directly. Give me your email address if you want to be included in the mailing list. And yes, please help me make Toolbox for Creativity a reality. We are hoping to launch in July. So for now, it's just a lot of preparation. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next the next week, about 10 days, when I release the next updates of this project, taking Toolbox for Creativity to Kickstarter. Thank you. Bye.